Hello, my name is John Cole Morgan and welcome to my channel, new channel called Quilt Along with John. One of the questions I get asked most is, who am I? Where do I come from? What's my experience? Who are you? So I thought it would be a good idea for me to start my channel off by telling you who it is I am. I am a 43-year-old South African accountant who lives in Tring in Hertfordshire with my absolutely divine husband, Andrew. We have no dogs, no cats, no children. We have a beautiful home together. We are an incredibly lucky couple because we've met each other and been able to sustain our relationship for, I think it's almost 13 and a half years. That's quite a long time for any marriage and any couple. And many people will say he's happy or I'm happy and he's married, but whatever the balance is, it works for us. He is the most incredible support of my business, of my whims and ideas and thoughts of things that I want to try and do. And quite literally every single step of this journey is 100% because of him. And he does not get half the credit that he is due. So thank you. Without my husband, this would not be possible. Love you, Andrew. So that is a little bit about me personally. Sewing wise, I grew up in South Africa. I have a little mug of hot chocolate, and I've got a little giraffe. So with these, I think it's always good you get yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, glass of gin, whatever works for you. I grew up in South Africa. I have no relationship with my family anymore. It is what it is. I have no ill will towards any of them. Very wish them all the happiness and joy in the world. It just was more constructive for all of us to go our separate ways. And I wish them all the best love in the world. My father's passed away. My mother, as far as I know, lives in South Africa, sister in Australia. I have an amazing brother, Ian, who lives in Portsmouth, who luckily I'm still very, very close with. And he is an incredible support as well, which is great. It's always nice to be able to have the support of family. I never started sewing. Growing up in South Africa, a young boy, even one as delicate as my good self, very obviously a giant queen from a very early age, was not encouraged to do any form of sewing or crochet or knitting or things like that. So I suppose it was a sort of midlife crisis rebellion. I was an accountant for many years. Don't look at my books. They're a nightmare. They're all done, but it just takes forever to get there. Lastminute.com in every respect. So every deadline, you make sure they're all done in time. So I then started sewing in about 7 years ago. 6.5 years ago, I used a sewing machine for the first time. My friend Joe got me a class to learn how to make a skirt. I've never worn a skirt, but I made a skirt for Joe. Don't know if she ever wore it. And then I decided, it was on the 27th of May in, let me just work this back, 2014, I went to my very first quilt group, really, number 57 in London, in Lewisham. Went there to hear about quilting, and I met some amazing ladies and found a book about crazy patchwork and thought, oh my goodness, this is extraordinary. And then decided to make my first quilt. And it was the world's biggest quilt, as you can imagine. All beginners, we all start out thinking, I'm going to make a quilt, and it's like 100 inches by 100 inches. No, start with a small quilt. It just makes it easier. But I started with this massive quilt, which I absolutely adore. It was hideous. Technically the worst thing in the entire world. And my gorgeous husband said, darling, should we get you some classes before you waste any more fabric? I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Hubby will be buried in that quilt. Mark my word. And hopefully for decades to come. And that was literally the very beginning. So that was in June 2014 that I made my very first quilt. Since then, on my long arm quilter, I've quilted 165 quilts for other people and for myself. I've made probably conservatively 250 quilt tops over that time, and it is without question my happy place in every single way. I can never express to people how much I adore quilting. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's well worth it. Along the way, I know, being a gay male quilter from Africa, I don't know why I say the Africa bit, but it just seems to be a thing. I came up with quite a lot of resistance, a lot of harsh commentary. I think being gay as well is an issue, so there was quite a lot of homophobia with it. I remembered vividly the first day I started my Facebook group called the Beginners Quilt Support Group. This lady in another group had told me that I was a paedophile because I was gay, and because I liked men, I obviously liked little boys, and I just decided that I needed to have a safe place in my quilting journey where I wasn't going to be attacked by such ignorance, sadly. Luckily, I then created the Beginners Quilt Support Group. We've got just under 6,400 people in the group now. Those were all organic users that joined along the way. I've had some phenomenal people help me along the way to get to that point. Tamara Finnegan Clements was one of the key cornerstones of making that group work. She's sadly no longer in the group, but honestly, what a wonderful, wonderful person. She was incredible in starting all of that. And I'm very grateful to her and many other people who helped grow that group, because that built a really safe space for me to be able to quilt and learn things. And what I lack in talent, and believe me, I lack in talent, I make up for with enthusiasm. And having such a great support group in such a incredible sphere as quilting, it's just incredible, because you just feel confident to be able to try everything. And a lot of it's not going to work, and a lot of it will not be technically good, and I don't care, and nor should you, because it's yours. And if somebody else doesn't like it, well, no, that's the other thing about me, I swear a lot to the other people. If they don't want it, don't like it, don't have it, it's yours, go away. I just find there's so much criticism. So that was why I was pleased that I did that. And then along the journey, I got asked I got sent a link about the Kirsty's Handmade Christmas. This was in middle of 2018, that they were looking for competitors. And I thought, ooh, I want to try that. And then ended up, after a long, gorgeously intense, wonderfully uplifting experience, I was able to go on to the show and record, I think it was episode 13 of the 2018 series, with some wonderful women who I'm still friendly with, Alison, Lynn, Leticia, and myself. We were all on the show. I did not win, because I had to make a quilt in 6 hours. Wasn't going to happen. But that was extraordinary, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I was so thrilled to be able to do that. And I got the television bug from that, and I really enjoyed doing that. And after that, I went to Hochanda, and I worked for a company called Craft Yourself Silly, and I worked there for about 10 months, I think it was, 10, 11 months. And I would come up with ideas, write patterns, make the samples, and then we'd try and sell the kits on air, and it was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that 10, 11 months there. It's a grueling task doing Selly Telly, and it's very, very grueling and a lot of work. A huge amount goes into it. And you will make more money working in Tesco's packing shelves. You will. It's just the basic industry standard in that sort of Selly Telly world. You won't make money on it. Nothing personal, you just won't. Then I decided that I'd had enough, because I was just exhausted all of the time. In amongst this time now, starting with Hochanda, I'd started a little shop. It's a studio. I will do a little feed of my studio now, and I promise you it always looks like this. It's always messy with stuff. I've got this gorgeous studio. So all those boxes are my UFOs. These are my latest fabric sale. Those are some of the quilts that I've designed and made together with groups. And this is the fabric that's for sale. And then this is my amazing book collection over here. No duplicates. And this is the little space that I'm so lucky to be able to work in and craft in and be able to sell fabric out of. Obviously, with the current restrictions of COVID-19, selling fabric is a totally different medium now. It's very different. But that was 2019, and at the end of 2019, in the October, it was in the end of October, beginning of November, I met with Rebecca Reed at Sewing Quarter to ask for a guest presenter position there. And was lucky enough to be given the job. And then obviously Sewing Quarter closed down immediately. Literally the day after they made the offer to me, they closed down, which was devastating. I then went on a road trip all around America and Canada to try and regroup, find my love for quilting again, because I think anybody who works in the industry and does run a shop and does do all of that, it's a lot of work, and people don't get you just get the fabric and you buy something and wonderful and you're thrilled and happy with it. But the hours behind running a shop, it's tough. It's tough going. But I love it. And I will hopefully be able to do this for as long as I run out of money. And I then went to America, went around all these amazing quilt shops trying to see if how I could do things slightly different, because I think the American quilt shops have a totally different feel. Firstly, the shops are a lot bigger, and because of the cost, they can afford to do them because they're a lot bigger. But also, you've got more of an experience when you go there. One of the shops I saw, sorry, I'll never forget one of the shops I saw, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, that went down the wrong way. Pardon me. One of the shops I went into, they had this phenomenal roaring log cabin in the middle, sofas all around it, the most incredible building I've ever seen, with probably 4,000 bolts of fabric in it, and a long arm quilter in the corner going all the time. It was extraordinary. And I have to say, when I came back from America, I realized I'm not a shop, and I need to be more of a shop, because I was just making quilts for people, selling bits and bobs here and there, but I wasn't really a dedicated shop. So I then made a whole load of changes and then started doing everything right. By the beginning of March, I was ready to go, open for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and everybody shut down for COVID. So that was a little bit much. It was a little bit overwhelming. By this point, I started working as a television presenter on Selly Telly again for the channel Sewing Street. I did that until the 26th of August 2020, and unfortunately wasn't a strong enough presenter to continue in the show, which is always very sad. You do your best and it's not enough. But it's, of course, they're running a business and there's no hard feelings. It is what it is. And then the amazingly wonderful Rebecca Reed started on again, and now they brought back John Scott, which I'm so thrilled about. John is an absolute phenomenon. He's wonderful. So I'm so pleased the show's going from strength to strength. Doing the guest presenting side of things was just not an option because it's so much work. You're doing 15, 20 hours work for every quilt. You've got to do 2 different quilts per show, and the hours and the money, it just did not make sense. And trying to run a business at the same time, it was just not an option. So now I run my little business and I'm launching my YouTube channel. Obviously, camera issues, higher issues of hauls. Nobody realizes just how much admin has to go into them and editing and all of that. It's just been plagued with issues. So unfortunately, that has taken a bit of a back seat. But now we are back up and running. I did a half day of filming today, which I was really thrilled about, and the stuff's worked really well. A lot of old designs, so the Moving On Up and the Welcome quilt that I did with Sewing Street will be the first 2 sets of quilts. But don't worry, I've got tons more for you. I just wanted to make sure that I redid those the way I wanted to do them, in the time frame it's needed to show people how to make the blocks clearly without the restrictions of time, and to be able to make sure that anybody who bought something from me as a pattern will be able to then do the project and have me showing you how it's done. So that's the little story about my journey. Still an accountant, not a very good one, mainly because I'm so far behind with everything else. My addiction to fabric is immense. I adore absolutely beautiful, beautiful fabrics. I have got so many favorite designers. Libs Elliott definitely jumps to mind. Juicy Juice, Tula Pink is without question the guru of all things quilting fabric. I don't know what goes on in her brain, but it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I hope it never, never, never stops. I love it. I don't get paid if I recommend anybody or say I've found something that I like or use. I don't get paid by anybody. Not fancy enough, really. No one's ever approached me on it. The only thing I have bought that I was then asked to be an ambassador, which I'm very proud to do, is the Juki sewing machine, because Juki is without question. But Juki, anybody who in Juki who works there will tell you every single time there's a show at Juki for festival or knitting and stitching, I'm always there and testing out the Juki and looking at it and thinking, oh my God, oh my God. And Juki is a phenomenal company, but I would have bought the sewing machine without being asked to be an ambassador. So I wholeheartedly will always be very honest with you about products that I support and advertise or put out there, and it's because I've bought it, I've liked it, and I think you will too. So that is me in a nutshell. I hope that answers all of your questions. If you do have any questions, please ask in the comments below. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would be so grateful. If you put the little bell, I think it's called notifications on, you'll get a little ping every time a new video comes up. And as I said, the YouTube channel will launch on the 1st of I think it's the 6th of January is the first date. It's the first Monday in January. So, oh, hang on, I can tell you now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's the 4th of January is the first video. It's either the 4th or the 6th of January 2021. So it'll launch then, but I'll keep you posted with all of that. You will see there are some videos on there. They're terribly poorly recorded. Lots of empty, dead air. It's hysterically funny. Get yourself a gin and tonic, and if you've got an hour spare, go and watch them. Scrub through the bits you don't like. And please do give me your feedback. I do read them. I think it's really important that you read feedback. I'd appreciate people not saying homophobic slurs about me. I'm very happy in my life. If you don't like it, well, tough. That's a you problem, not me. I really don't appreciate xenophobia. I don't like racism. I don't like sexism, any form of hatred towards another person for being who they are. Well, I swear a lot, but I won't on this channel. I just think it's inappropriate. Mind your own business. You don't like it, don't comment. Don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But I will do videos with reading the troll comments out. I've got quite a few, actually. Thank you, quilters. Actually, those are quite fun, actually. I like it when people do that, so I've got quite a lot. So I will read those out in and out every now and then, do those. I think it's quite fun to read them. So that is me. Hope you stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the videos that are to come. And thank you, mainly, thank you for your time. All of your watching my videos, it comes with your time. It comes at a cost, and it may not have a monetary value, but it really warms my heart knowing that I'm bringing joy and happiness to people. And if you're interested in it, I'm so grateful. Even if I have one person interested in it, I'm so, so grateful. It really does mean the world. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for my husband and my fabulous, amazing friendship circle, my wonderful group of sewers and knitters and crocheters and quilters that are in my life. You all fill me with such happiness and such joy. Honestly, without all of you, I couldn't do it. So stay safe, be kind, look after yourself, and mainly be kinder to yourself. You deserve it. Bye, everyone.